Hello everybody, welcome back to Nature Talks, or welcome to Nature Talks. Maybe it's your first time. So my name is Viren and I'm the host for the show today. And today on the Nature Talks podcast, we're going to talk about a lot of interesting things that have been happening in the last few days. Guess what? It's all related to nature, because this is the Nature Talks podcast. Anyway, so one funny news that came out was 78% posts are still lying vacant in the Pollution Control Board in Bihar. 78% of the posts of people who are supposed to check the pollution, so all those 78% posts are just empty. They're vacant. Nobody is employed there, and that means nobody can check the pollution, nobody can do anything about it. So the best thing to do is employ people there. They can check the pollution and we can reduce the pollution. And actually, recently we just got to know that there was a court hearing and the judge was telling the people that stop talking about unemployment, because we have so many people. We don't have any unemployment issues here. We have so many people. Wait, I mixed that up. Actually, so many people who are qualified are unemployed. There are so many BA students who would be willing to do the job for a little bit more money maybe. And they're skilled people, they're smart, intelligent people, and they can do these kind of jobs. But where there's will, there's a way, and where there's no will, then they're just excuses. Isn't that right? That probably is true for many different scenarios in your life, wherever you are. Another crazy thing that we saw on the Twitter feed was about the dog feeding fiasco in Jodhpur. So basically, we saw that there's this video where there could be about, maybe around 50 dogs, stray dogs probably, and yeah, they were stray dogs and they were probably picked up from somewhere and put at the shelter. And in the shelter, they're all put together in this open space, and from one corner on top, there's a guy who's throwing pieces of bread down there, and all the dogs have to fight amongst each other to get that bread. So many dogs might not even get the food, and this is not a right way to give food to an animal, but throwing it in a big pack of them, a lot of them are not going to get it. It's going to be the survival of the fittest, as usual. That's how you are here also, right? You're here because you're the one that survived, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of people, the internet is in total uproar about this, that so many dogs over there, the condition over there, and the quality of the food that they're getting and how they're getting it. So it's quite crazy to look at, and yeah, the internet is responding. So this is how technology is helping animals around the world. In other crazy stories, there was the story about the Sarus crane. So we had spoken about this in one of the previous podcasts, where there was a Sarus crane which was injured, and then there was a young man who went and rescued that Sarus crane. Upon rescuing that crane, he took care of it, he fed it, and released it back into the wild. But that bird got attached to this human being, and the bird kept coming back to meet him and spend time with him, and it would also fly away for most of the day and come back in the evening. So that's so it was posted on the internet, and then the wildlife department over there, they put a case on this guy for under the Wildlife Protection Act, and then the bird was also put behind bars. Imagine that. That bird, which was flying freely and roaming around and coming back, was put behind bars and put inside a cage, and where it cannot fly. And now it's been there since I think a couple of weeks now already. And recently there was a video where that man went back to the spot to meet that bird, and as soon as the bird saw this man, the bird started getting excited and jumping with joy. So yeah, this video is there on Twitter. People are sharing it a lot. A lot of the verified accounts are sharing it, so that's good. And yeah, everybody is just saying that the bird should be freed and the bird needs to fly, and why are we keeping the bird caged? It's a wild bird and it needs to go out and fly and spread its wings. But if you keep it locked in the cage, it's just got like 4 walls. It's probably the size of most of your bedrooms or something. And yeah, this bird is huge, man. It's like not even the size of a sparrow or a peacock. It's bigger than that. It's a huge bird and it needs much bigger space. So it needs to be out in the wild. And some people have put some petitions on change.org. So just in 2 hours, like hundreds of people from all over the country are signing that petition to get that bird free so that it can fly freely. And it's quite crazy, right? People are stuck behind all this paperwork, not letting this wild bird go back into the sky. And what's going to happen in a result of all this, if you just keep that bird locked up there for more and more longer time, then it's obviously its health is going to deteriorate until it dies. And whose fault is it going to be? Not the person who wanted it free, but the person who kept it in the cage, right? So yeah, that's what I also believe. And what if you have a different opinion? So tell us about that opinion on the internet. Let's see how the internet responds to your opinions. It's a good way to reflect upon your thoughts, right? If you put it out there and see that many people approve of it or don't approve of it, or what suggestions the world gives to you. So it's a nice way to reflect upon your thoughts by putting things out there. On the other hand, there's this Cambridge University. So the Cambridge University has organized a 100% vegan ball. What kind of ball? It's a vegan ball. Not a ball which you can eat, but a ball where people get together and celebrate and have a dance off in the university. So that's the kind of ball I was talking about, like a ballroom. Okay, and they're making it 100% vegan, so that sends a message out there that why should we even have these options of killing animals when you can just put non-cruelty options on the table and have that, and you can still survive. In fact, you will live much longer if you choose these vegan options. It's also like really light on the resources. You use so many more resources for a non-veg diet compared to a vegan diet. So yeah, there are many charts on this online. There's a lot of studies about this online, and you all need to read up about it. There's so much information out there that it all can't just fit inside one podcast. You can put it in a few podcasts or podcasts in this matter, and then you're going to have a better idea about how things are. The experts, they spend a lot of time and they're more experienced in these fields. So listening to their thoughts and ideas about these people who have actually experienced the vegan lifestyle. So talk to them, find out more about it. And there's a lot of funny stories out there. So if you have some funny stories, share it with us. We'd love to talk about it here on the podcast. Now, I saw this funny meme on Twitter where there was a young boy. It was like a cartoon drawn out animation thing. Not exactly animated, it's drawn out, sketched or whatever. There's a small boy, he's pouring water on a sapling and he's happy, he's expecting that sapling to grow. And behind him there are 3 adults with chainsaws and axes and big boots and helmets and shit. So those guys are looking at the tree very cunningly and thinking about, there's not much written here, but what can you put together by looking at an image, right? They say a picture has 1,000 words. So just by looking at this picture, I see that these people who are standing with the axes and chainsaws, they're waiting for that tree to grow really big just so that they can chop it down. And on this tweet, the text by the person who posted it, the text says, "Our government organizes various plantation drives at various levels to encourage people to plant trees, and then ... picture abhi baki hai mere dost." So yeah, it's a funny meme, I think. If you're following us on Twitter, check it out. We are New Delhi Nature Society. It's NDNS_HQ. The Nature Talks podcast is not yet on Twitter. But what do you think? Should we put it on Twitter? Is it going to cause some controversies? It's going to stir shit up? I don't know. You guys have to tell me what you think about that. Now, there's a crazy heat wave going on in India. There's a picture where we see this crazy picture where, like, I don't know, maybe 100 people or something, they're lying down under a flyover, under a bridge somewhere. Around, there's no trees around. Okay, it's like so hot and sunny on the sides. They're just sitting under the shade of the bridge. And this is not like a bridge in a fancy park. This is there's like garbage thrown all over the place. Probably it's some kind of a floodplain or a riverbed or something. Just because a bridge is crossing through that area which doesn't have any trees, the people can only find shade under the bridge, so they're sleeping over there. And these are not people with homes and all. These are homeless people, obviously. If they had homes, they would have been there, right? But it's so hot outside, so people are looking for shade. And when you have 219,923.79 acres of nature chopped away to put concrete everywhere, what are you going to expect when the sunshine comes around? Where usually we have almost, I think, 48, 49 degrees Celsius. I don't know if we've touched 50 yet, but this year I think it's going to go pretty bad here. There's so many acres of forest land which have been diverted for all these projects. So where there were forests, now there's concrete. And just recently in one of the courts, we heard one of the judges say that he was scolding the other people who are cutting down trees and putting cement everywhere. He was saying that when are you guys going to stop? You have concrete coming out of your ears, out of your nose, out of your mouth. There's so much concrete everywhere. When are you going to stop? Actually, my words are not exactly quoted, but that's what the basic gist of it was. So we are dealing with our own consequences. And what about this global warming, climate change? How is all that happening? It's happening because of these kind of stupid actions, right? If you continue doing these things are not getting any better. They're only getting worse. 1 second. So I have this common question which I always ask people when we have our nature walks and workshops or whatnot, that what do you think came first? Was it the governments or was it nature? Because whatever came first should have some kind of priority, don't you think so? So it's a pretty obvious answer. It's obviously nature came first before the governments, and that's why nature should have more priority, right? I mean, governments are also part of the system, and the system is so amazing right now. I mean, there are two ways that you can look at a glass with water to the halfway point. You can look at it as half empty or half full. So half full basically sounds like something positive, that there is something positive happening over there. Second, I think we have a problem here. Okay, so we do have some issues with the video recording right now. We are trying to figure out the podcast issues. Right now we have a video issue. We're trying to use some of our cameras to record the videos, but we have issues because this is technology, man. It's not so dependable as you think it is. Anyway, we'll get that thing fixed. That's not a problem. But as long as you have our audio, you can find us on all these amazing podcast channels. So what came first, nature or the government? What do you say? Are you proud of your civilization, the human civilization? Are you proud of, your country? Are you proud of your state when you have interstate competitions? Are you proud of your city or your neighborhood when you have inter-neighborhood competitions? Are you proud of yourself? I don't know. Are you able to make the world a better place? What are you doing for the world? What are you doing for yourself and what are you doing for the world? Okay, some people might tell you that we don't care about the world. I have chosen the path to care only about myself. And I'm not selfish. This is just who I am, and I just want to think about me, and as long as I'm here, FTW. Okay. For those of you who don't know what FTW is, I'm going to try not to drop any F-bombs, but TW is the world. Put your thinking caps on, put these things together, and you will have the final answer. So yeah, are you proud of your country, your city, your neighborhood, all that? What was I talking about over there? Well, our system is not the best, right? I mean, this is how you see the glass half empty when we see all the negative things that there's so much corruption around, there's so much negligence, the system is so horrible. If you want to get things done, you have to jump through so many hoops and hurdles, and still it's things are not getting done. But in other developed countries, maybe things are getting better. So what does that make you, an anti-national? No, it doesn't. Maybe it just makes you want to be more patriotic and try to make your world a better place, make your country a better place, right? So think about this. Okay, you have to if you see that you are proud of your place, your team, your home team, then what are you proud of it about? What are the good things about it? That's how you see the glass half full. First I was talking about half empty by talking about the negative things. So what about half full? Talk about the positive things. That what all good stuff happens in this country. There's so much amazing stuff, like the food, right? There's the music, there's the art, there's the nature. Nature is the main thing that people from all over the planet have traveled from over the 7 seas just to come here and experience nature and try to conquer it. And this is known as the motherland for a reason, because, well, let's talk about the motherland story another time. That's a long story. This is the motherland where you've heard about it in so many old movies and TV shows and stuff, especially if you were an 80s or 90s kid. Anyway, in one of the earlier podcasts, I had spoken about this dude, this old man who's beating a dog, and then he was taking out his slipper to beat up a woman, and then people were stopping him, and that video had gone viral on the internet. So the police finally took action against him, and then he put some apology letter on social media. So the internet is quite happy with how the way things turned out. Now that guy has written not just an apology, but he's written that he has no problem with any animals or any animal feeders, and the dogs are welcome and stuff like that. I don't have it open in front of me right now, so I don't remember the exact words. But yeah, if you're following us on our Twitter account, that's the NDNS Twitter account, that's where I'm picking up all these stories from, just scrolling down through the feed. There's so much interesting stuff out there. Well, it all depends upon your algorithm, what kind of stuff you interact with on the feeds. Basically, this is with all your social media, whatever stuff you like to interact on, you spend more time looking at, you push the likes or write comments and stuff, that's the stuff which it will start showing you more. And Twitter is a place where we are constantly talking about negative stuff, and that's entertaining for a lot of people, because maybe somewhere you see there's a car crash, or someone fighting or something. These kind of videos, the fail videos, all these things, they get a lot of traction because it attracts the human attention. And when you start looking at things, more of those things, then the computer algorithm, the AI, that starts throwing similar stuff at you so that you can get stuck on their website for even a longer more time. And when that happens, then the ads can be sold to you so that you can go and buy the mattresses your favorite cricketer is trying to sell you. Is it mattresses? Or I don't know, maybe it's some Bollywood stars who are trying to sell you mattresses or car insurance or something. So that's another funny story that we should talk about. How, children in school, you ask them what do you want to be when you grow up. Maybe they say I want to be a cricketer or an actor or singer or something. But none of them say that we want to be wearing all the brands on our t-shirt. Not just brands, we want to be wearing all the sponsors on our t-shirts. And we want to sell mattresses when we grow up after becoming a cricketer. Nobody says that. So this is just this is something which people have categorized as controversy theory about how people who become famous, they have to sell their soul to the devil to do some weird shit, and then only they can get their fortune and fame. So that's what this is connected to, and that's for you to decide. You have to go through the internet. I've been on the net looking through all this stuff for many years, so I know a thing or two. Now, so yesterday we were at the Bhalswa Landfill. That is India's largest landfill. Delhi is the world's most polluted capital in the entire planet, at least for the last 4 or 5 years, I think. And now we got Bhalswa Landfill, which is the largest landfill. It's like a huge garbage mountain. It's huge. You have to take a car to go around it. It's not walkable at all. It's bigger than like a couple of neighborhoods put together. So when you drive around it, anyway, we were doing a project over there. It's a neighborhood nearby over there. This place is really polluted, man. And we went to the slums there. We took all our medical precautions, wore masks, gloves. No, not gloves. We didn't have gloves that time. But yeah, next time we have to take our gloves. But we use a lot of sanitizer and those wipes. And yeah, anyway, we did a program with the kids over there. The kids had to do a show, a street play. So first we did the training. We taught them exactly what to say, what to do, how to act, and it was quite short, but we spent like a couple of hours doing that first. And after they were trained, then the kids made a lot of noise on the street so that people come out of their houses, out of their balconies and their roofs and stuff. And all the people around it was a 4-way crossing in the neighborhood, so people came out and they could hear the kids screaming out there on the road. So everybody came out to see what happened, and then the kids did this great play which was connected to nature. One was about trees, one was about garbage, and about air pollution also. Plus, we also gave all the elders and all the families, we gave them some seeds to grow veggies, and we gave them some seeds to grow flowers so that they can grow this outside their homes, maybe on their roofs. And this is how we're going to make that slum area more greener. We got these are the seeds that we have given right now. The seeds are of the season right now so that they can plant it now, and within a couple of weeks they will be able to enjoy the fruit of their labor, right? And plus we are also got other things in the pipeline. We took these huge plastic bottles, which were, anyway, these are all waste collectors, and they separate all the waste from the landfill. So it was easy for us to get the waste plastic bottles. So we picked up a couple of them, and we basically have a plastic bottle cutter. So with that plastic bottle cutter, I was able to cut out a thin strip of plastic. Basically, it was maybe like 5 millimeters thick, and it's like a huge ribbon. So what happens is we put it through the bottle cutter, someone holds onto it, and you just keep walking backwards. So the entire bottle gets spun out into one long ribbon. And now that ribbon can be used for so many different things. We're going to make some chairs and beds out of that. We're going to even put it on the sides of the walls so that we can grow some food on it. Just a couple of years ago, we grew a lot of vegetables on the same plastic ribbon just from those plastic bottles. So, and they are reusable. They're non-biodegradable, so it's going to last you longer than your lifeline. So you put them up nicely somewhere, and it's better to make some use of all this waste instead of letting it go into that waste to energy plant, which is going to not just magically disappear all the garbage. All that garbage is burned and it gets mixed in the air, and guess who has to breathe that air? It is you, nice listeners. You are all breathing that dirty, smelly air. So stop contributing all that garbage into the landfills. Create less garbage. Choose ways where you have to produce less garbage, or choose eco-friendly things which are biodegradable. Packaging which is in paper is much better than the packaging which might be in plastics. I try to reuse whatever plastic does come my way. Somehow, someone might bring it and leave it around, or I don't know, somehow it just comes through whatever activities we're doing. We get some plastic somewhere and we end up using those plastics, whether it's Ziplocs or plastic bags. We end up using it for like several years after that. That's how it should be, instead of throwing it into the landfill. And over there we see all the cows also eating up all that garbage. It gets stuck in their stomachs. So we're doing this awareness campaign in the slum area about how all this garbage gets stuffed up inside the cow stomachs. And just by being conscious about this, by being aware about this, if you separate the food from all the harmful things, then the cows will also be healthy. A lot of these people care mostly about the milk from the cows. So we told them that if the cow is not eating healthy stuff, then the milk is also not going to be good. So it's better if you give the healthy food to the cow. That's the best way to get your own healthy milk. Although I'm a vegan and I don't drink milk anymore. I used to drink a lot of milk before. But these people have to go one step at a time, and that's how we can save more of these cows and other animals. Now we are almost at the end of the podcast, but there are still a couple of more things that I need to quickly finish. Firstly, there's this Bangalore Cuban park. Okay, there was this crazy news that now they're not going to allow any games, no food, no games, and you cannot sit with your partner. So, or I don't know how they're going to judge this. It's just going to be some guards roaming around with a big megaphone telling people, hey, you don't sit next to each other. Hey, you boy and girl, no, don't put your arm around her. These kind of things. But sometimes, most of the families that I speak to, the elderly people in the families, they remember their times in these parks. They remember their college years and dating life, and they remember that they used to go to these Lodi Garden and Nehru Park just to be with their date. And now the youths of today, they're going to these parks, and if they're sitting together and enjoying their time in nature, not being vulgar in public obviously, but if they're just sitting together and enjoying themselves in nature, it should not be a problem for the guards, right? That's how those guards were probably born in the first place, when their parents had to make some love, right? What do you think about that? Am I crossing the line by talking about these things, or am I still on the right side of the line? Lastly, there is a story which I want to talk about, which is so important, that there are all these superhero movies that you guys watch all the time. whether it's Batman or, I don't know, DC, Marvel, those kind of things. But we have actual superheroes among us. There are people who are unsung heroes, maybe crusaders with no capes, however you want to call it. They wear their underwear on the inside of their clothes, and these people are actually making the world a better place without, running around for the recognition. They care more about the job getting done, and this is in many different walks of life. There are people who are singers, people who are teachers, people who are lawyers, even doctors. There are many people in many different kinds of fields, artists also, I know, and they are all influencing the world around them in a way for conservation of the environment. So they go out of their way, they use their own resources, and it's not something that they're doing for themselves, it's doing it for the world around us, for everybody else to have a better world. So these people are out there. I've got a chance to meet a lot of them. I've even interviewed a lot of them on my old YouTube channel, so you can go and check those out over there too. But there's still so many more people that are doing a lot of great stuff out there, and I want to go and meet all of them. So hopefully we will start taking these podcasts back outdoors to record some more stuff outside, because everybody can't come for the podcast here for some reason. And you know how traffic and parking it can be here in Delhi, so if you can't bring the horse to the water, take the water to the horse. Am I right or am I right? So that's almost the end. Actually, that is the end. So that's all for the podcast for today. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to all this crazy stuff happening around the world, and I hope that all of you will do something about it. Not just treat this as a stupid radio show. This is not a news channel. It's nothing like that. These are actual things which are impacting your world these days, and you need to do something about it, because if you don't know at least 10 or 20 people who are working for the environment, that means that you are the one who you're waiting for. You are the one that has to make that change. And if you need any guidance or help to get started or what to do, how to go ahead, you can always write to us, find us on social media. I'm quite easy to find now, the way random people contact me every time. So I'm sure you can find me too. Okay, so thank you guys for watching, or rather listening and watching. Now we have the videos also. I've got like 2 cameras right now, so we're gonna see what works out better. Let's see. Okay, that's all for me today. Goodbye.